Karbala, a barren land that became the cradle of sacrifice. A desert plain where humanity was tested and truth was immortalized.
After the passing of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Ummah faced trials. Power struggles emerged, justice gave way to ambition, and, slowly, the pure spirit of Islam was threatened. By 680 CE, Yazid ibn Muawiyah seized the caliphate, ruling through fear and corruption. He demanded allegiance to legitimize his tyranny. One man refused. Hussein ibn Ali, grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, beacon of truth, would never bow to injustice. Knowing the risks, Hussein chose exile over compromise. With his family and loyal companions, he left Medina for Kufa, where promises of supports awaited. Men, women, and children traveled alongside him, determined yet wary. The letters from Kufa were many, but faith among the people was weak. By the time Hussein approached, Kufa had fallen to Yazid's terror. The promises dissolved into silence. Hussein pressed forward toward his fate at Karbala. On the 2nd of Muharram, 61 AH, Hussein and his small caravan reached Karbala, a plain of cracked earth and merciless sun. Yazid's forces encircled them. Access to water was cut off. The siege had begun. On the eve of battle, the camp was bathed in solemn light. The scent of dust and sweat mingled with whispered prayers. Hussein gathered his companions. He offered them freedom. Leave now, and no blame shall fall upon you. Every heart chose martyrdom. Every soul stood ready to etch its name into eternity. The 10th of Muharram, the sun rose red over Karbala, as if the heavens themselves mourned what was to come. Before battle, Hussein called once more for reason. He mounted his horse, Quran held high, pleading, "Let us be judged by the Book of Allah." Peace was answered with violence, and the final stand began. The desert shook with the thunder of hooves. The enemy charged in waves, a relentless tide against a handful of defenders. From the enemy lines, arrows rained upon Hussein's camp. The companions shielded their women and children with their bodies, many falling before lifting their swords. Habib ibn Madahir, companion of the Prophet, rallied the defense. With sword flashing like lightning, he sent enemy after enemy to their end before falling, his blood soaking the earth. Muslim ibn al-Sajjah fought bravely until he too was struck down. Hussein rushed to him, cradling his old friend as he breathed his final labaik, his final pledge. Wave after wave, the companions fell, martyrs whose spirits ascended beyond the battlefield. When none remained but family, the house of the Prophet rose to defend the truth. Ali Akbar, the beloved son of Hussein, bearing the beauty of the Prophet Muhammad, sought permission to fight. Tears welled in Hussein's eyes, yet he granted it, knowing destiny could not be undone. He fought like a lion, yet he was young. A spear found his chest. As he fell, he called, "Father, upon you my peace." Hussein raced to him, holding his broken body, whispering farewell. Then came Qasim, the teenage son of Hassan, barely a boy, armored in oversized mail, determined to die for Hussein. He fought valiantly until he was surrounded and cut down. The young martyr's cries echoed across the battlefield, a dagger through Hussein's soul. Last of all, Abbas, the standard-bearer, the moon of Banu Hashim, sought permission to fetch water for the children. He galloped to the riverbank, fought through legions, filled his water skin, but refused a sip for himself. Arrows shattered his arms, blades severed his limbs, yet he pressed on, carrying the water in his mouth, until an arrow struck his eye and the water skin was pierced. Hussein rushed to him, weeping, "My brother, now my back is broken." With Abbas's fall, the flag of loyalty fell to the dust. Now, Hussein stood alone. The sky darkened, the earth held its breath. He returned to bid farewell, a final embrace to Zainab, a tearful prayer over his infant son, Ali Asghar. He carried his infant child toward the enemy lines, crying, "If you have no pity for me, then at least have mercy on this baby." But mercy had fled those hearts. The infant's blood flowed into Hussein's hands. He looked skyward and whispered, "It is easier to bear when seen by Allah." He buried the baby's tiny body behind the tents. Then Hussein charged, one man against thousands. He fought with unmatched fury and grace, striking terror into the hearts of cowards. But wounds mounted, swords, spears, arrows, each tore into him. At last, the final blow fell. A spear pierced his chest. A sword struck his head. And that was the end of a battle of truth, belief, and tests. The survivors, Zainab, Kulthum, and the orphan children, were marched in chains across burning deserts, paraded through Kufa and Damascus. Karbala was not the end. It was a beginning. Hussein's stand echoes through centuries. His sacrifice lives wherever injustice is challenged, wherever the oppressed cry for dignity. Hussein's name is whispered. Every year, millions rise to answer his call. Labaik, Ya Hussein.